College football hosts for the Locked On Podcast Network voted their top 100 players. Sam Leavitt, Jordyn Tyson in the top 25. They could have been higher.
You are Locked On Sun Devils, your daily podcast on the Arizona State Sun Devils. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome back to the Locked On Sun Devils podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. My name is Richie Bradshaw, your guide, your expert, your friend for all things Sun Devils, from the gridiron to the hardwood and everything in between. On today's agenda, the Locked On Sun Devils are going to be assessing the top 100 players as voted on by my peers from the Locked On Podcast Network. Two players, Sam Leavitt, Jordyn Tyson, made the top 100. I like their ranking. I'm going to argue they could be just a little bit higher. There were some big-time snubs from this list. That comes up later before we round out with guys who will make you regret sleeping on them and potential Sun Devils for the future. Before we get started, thanks to each and every single one of you for tuning in to Locked On Sun Devils and making us your first listen of the day. Shout out to the everydayers who are here every day. Sam Leavitt and Jordyn Tyson included in Locked On's top 100 college football players. Jordyn Tyson checking in at number 16. Sam Leavitt checking in at number 21. I love it. And we'll go ahead and start with the fact that these two played out of their minds last year. And in the perspective of the college football world, in terms of the national perception of these guys, neither of them was overly known outside of Tempe, Arizona. Sam Leavitt, sure, he was a former four-star quarterback in a loaded 2023 cycle, but he transferred after 1 year with Michigan. He played 4 games. And, we down here were like, oh, wow, he beat Jaden Rashada in camp. That's crazy. But I promise you no one else was talking about it. They weren't even talking about it in other portions of the state. So, yeah, that went under the radar. Jordyn Tyson, he looked awesome as a freshman at Colorado, but he missed all of the 2023 season recovering from a knee injury. So he goes into the year, and it's like, well, we don't know who the number one receiver is. Elijah Badger had transferred after he was supposed to be the team's number one receiver. So it's like, oh, crap, well, we got to figure out who it is. Again, in Tempe, we knew it was Jordyn Tyson. From the grand scheme of things, no one else knew who Tyson was. So no one knows who those two are. We go into 2024. There's no expectations for the Sun Devils. In fact, if there were expectations, it would be that they're going to be terrible. And they were not terrible. Sam Leavitt goes out and plays like one of the best quarterbacks in the country, and Jordyn Tyson does the same at wide receiver. Both of them decide to come back, and lo and behold, they are now being recognized as some of the best players in the nation. I love it. I absolutely love it. For this portion of the podcast, I am going to be posting the top 100 players for our poll. There we go, Richie. I am only going to do the first 3, which is going to be numbers 1 through 30, because that's where ASU players are at. But as a quick reminder, because we are going to have graphics up here for a little bit, so if you're on YouTube, you can check those out. ASU has Jordyn Tyson at number 16, Sam Leavitt at number 21. So I have no complaints there. I'm going to argue they could be just a little bit higher, but I do think that their placement is more than respectable. I have no issues with them being number 16 and 21. Here is your top 10. That's going to be up on the screen here for a second. I'll go ahead and run through it real quick for those of you who are on audio. Number 1, Jeremiah Smith, Ohio State. Number 2, Caleb Downs, Ohio State. Number 3, Dylan Stewart, South Carolina. Number 4, Jeremiah Love, Notre Dame. Number 5, Ryan Williams, Alabama. Number 6, Kate Klubnik, Clemson. Number 7, Anthony Hill, Texas. Number 8, Garrett Nussmeier, LSU. Number 9, Colin Simmons, Texas. And number 10, Keldrick Folk, Auburn. That is your top 10. Numbers 11 through 20, this is where ASU gets their first guy in. Number 11, Peter Woods from Clemson. Number 12, TJ Parker from Clemson. Number 13, Lenore Sellers from South Carolina. Number 14, Spencer Fano from Utah. Number 15, Jermon McCoy from Tennessee. Number 16 is Jordyn Tyson checking in for the Sun Devils. He is the highest rated Sun Devil. Number 17 is Leonard Moore from Notre Dame. Number 18 is Caden Proctor from Alabama. Number 19 is Raylan Wilson from Georgia. Number 20 is Drew Aller from Penn State. Finally, this will be the last ones we go through. Number 21 is Sam Leavitt. He's the final Sun Devil, checking in at 21. Two guys inside the top 25. I love it. Number 22, Danny Dennis Sutton from Penn State. Number 23, Francis Moyoga. I know I didn't pronounce that right. I will get there at some point. From Miami. Number 24, DJ Lagway from Florida. Number 25, Nicholas Singleton from Penn State. Number 16, Suntarine, I believe is how you say it. Suntarine Perkins from Ole Miss. 27, AJ Harris from Penn State. 28, Gabe Jackas from Illinois. Number 29 is Ruben Bain Jr. from Miami. And number 30 is Dylan Thieneman from Oregon. That is your top 30. If you want to see the top 100, you can check it out on Twitter, on Instagram, all that good stuff. But again, I'm going to go back for now to Tyson being number 16, Sam Leavitt being number 21. That's the graphic we have on the screen at the moment. So could these two have been higher? Sure. Am I upset that they weren't? No. Here's why. College football just looks great this year, man. It looks so good this year. The 2026 draft class, and if you guys don't know this, I am a huge NFL draft nut. 2026 looks great, but this is the prime of the 2023 and 2024 recruiting cycles that is going to be on full display. And those two classes were utterly insane in the amount of talent that they put in. Obviously, Sam Leavitt is one of those guys. Jordyn Tyson was one from the 2022 cycle. But we're seeing the top 10 was littered with some youngsters like Jeremiah Smith, who was number 1, and I would agree would be number 1. But you've got so many players on here that are just in the primes of their career. And again, looking at the 2026 class, will be potentially very high draft picks. But even beyond that, you have guys who can stay longer than just this upcoming season. You've got guys who are going to be faces of college football for a long time. Arch Manning is on this list. Arch Manning is going to play 2 more years of college football, including this season. You can book it. I don't care who's picking number 1. I am planting my flag on that. There's a lot of great players in college football right now. So seeing Tyson and Leavitt inside the top 25, inside the top 21, yeah, I'm thrilled. I am not offended whatsoever. Could they have been higher? Sure, you can make the argument. Tyson's wide receiver 3, though. And I appreciate that there's no other receivers named ahead of him. The only 2 guys that are ahead of him are Jeremiah Smith, number 1 player in the country. I agree with that. And Ryan Williams from Alabama, who's ranked 5th overall. If you want to make the argument of Tyson versus Williams, you could. I don't know how long that's going to last. I also don't know if I would tell you that Tyson is a top 5 player in college football, if we're just being completely objective. But I also don't know if I would tell you Ryan Williams is a top 5 player in college football. Overall, I feel like that's fine. I'm good with Tyson being number 3. Sam Leavitt, quarterback 5. This I could make a little bit of an argument. He's definitely behind Kate Klubnik. Klubnik checked in at number 6. He is behind Garrett Nussmeier, who checked in at number 8. So I would have him outside the top 10. The other 2 quarterbacks he's behind are Lenore Sellers from South Carolina at 13 and Drew Aller from Penn State at number 20. I could argue I would take Leavitt over both of those 2. Sellers is an insane talent. Like, there's the Cam Newton comparisons for a reason. He's big, he's strong, he's fast. He's a good quarterback, period. But I like where Sam Leavitt is currently compared to where Lenore Sellers is currently. And I know that Sellers has insane upside, but that feels like a slight to Sam Leavitt, who also has insane upside. We're still hesitant to call him a dual threat, and I don't understand why. In fact, side note, College Football 26 lists him as a pocket passer. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. The fact that I can't run with him on the game makes me so angry, but neither here nor there. And then Drew Aller, he has slowly, steadily gotten just so much better at Penn State, but I feel like we've seen the best of Drew Aller. And the best of Drew Aller is not better than Sam Leavitt. So that's just my take there. Now, at the end of the day, I don't have an issue with Leavitt being behind those four. I am good with Sam Leavitt being number 5. I can make an argument he could be higher, but overall, I feel good. One question for you guys I want to pose as we start to move on to the next part of the show. When's the last time ASU would have had 2 top 25 players? Not 2 top 100 players, 2 top 25 players. Because I don't know if you could find one, because some of the guys that ASU had when they broke out, it was really for one season before they went pro, or you had guys that just didn't do it in consecutive years. So like Brandon Ayuk, N'Keal Harry, that could have been 2 top 25s, but N'Keal broke out, he went pro, and then Ayuk broke out, so they didn't get to play together. So that's the interesting thing here. Look at one season. Tell me when the last time ASU would have had 2 players in the top 25 would have been. There were guys who were snubbed from this year. That's coming up next. This is the Locked On Sun Devils podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Guys, I want to talk to you about our friends over at Drip Drop. If you are trying to stay on top of your routine, if that's workouts, if it's long days on campus, if it's staying focused through back-to-back classes, hydration is where it starts. That's where Drip Drop comes in for you. Drip Drop is doctor-developed, scientifically proven for fast hydration. It uses the perfect balance of sodium electrolytes and glucose to help your body absorb fluids quickly, delivering 3 times the electrolytes and half the sugar of a leading sports drink. You guys will have to check this out for yourself. Super interested for me. I am waiting to get my own that are dropped off. When I get them, I'm going to tell you guys all about them, because I'm going to end up keeping these things around me. I know that I need a little boost throughout the day. And if that means getting my electrolytes going, then my electrolytes are going to be going. Right now, Drip Drop is offering Locked On listeners 20% off your first order. Just head to dripdrop.com and use the promo code LOCKEDONCollege. That's dripdrop.com, promo code LOCKEDONCollege for 20% off. Stock up now before the heat hits hard. Thanks as always for tuning in to Locked On Sun Devils and making us your first listen of the day. Shout out to the everydayers who are here every day. There was a handful of Sun Devils who were snubbed from Locked On Podcast Network's top 100 college football players. It happens. Some of these should not have happened, honestly. But for me, there are 3 players who stand out as big-time snubs. And I look at it and I'm go, how on earth did you leave these guys out? Real quick side note, Cam Skattebo, obviously not eligible. If he was, top 5. Top 5, undisputably. I'd argue he's the best player in college football if he was going into this upcoming season. I would. 100%. You can debate the wall. But for the guys who are returning, I believe there to be 3 players that were snubbed from the top 100. You can call me biased too, because all 3 of these players, fun fact, are friends of the Locked On Podcast Network. And if you want to see their interviews, you can check them out, because on YouTube, we have a separate file for the player interviews. Definitely check those out later. Let's talk about these 3 guys, though. Number 1, we're just going offense to defense. Kanye Udoh, the running back from Army, transferring in. He's going to try and help and replace Cam Skattebo. That's not going to be easy. But Udoh rushed for over 1,100 yards and double-digit touchdowns last year with the Black Knights. Now, I don't know if you know a lot about Army and the way they play football, but that's not easily done. Unless you're the quarterback And whoever the quarterback is going to run the ball 300 times. It just happens on an annual basis. It does not matter if that guy is prime Cam Newton or if they're prime, quote unquote, Richie Bradshaw. That's just the way their offense runs, literally. So for a running back, a non-quarterback to get 1,100 yards and double-digit touchdowns is not easily done, especially if you look at the rest of that team. There's like 10 running backs who had significant touches. So that's pretty impressive. Where some people may have a holdback is he has 2 career catches for a flat 0 yards. One catch went for 1 yard. One of them went for minus a yard. Maybe you have a hang up there. I am wait and see on the receiving game because Army doesn't throw the football, let alone 2 guys out of the backfield. So we truly don't know what to expect. But I'm not just going to assume that Kanye Udoh just can't catch the football. I don't think that's a fair expectation. So we'll wait and see. But nonetheless, a guy who does that at a school that really predicates offensive success to another position, that's impressive. And again, he's coming to replace Cam Scatterby. That's a lot of touches available for the Sun Devils. He should, could, and probably will be the number 1 back for this team. We'll wait and see. Number 2, going to the defensive side of the ball for these last 2 guys, CJ Fite, defensive lineman. I am not shy about my CJ Fite love on this podcast. He has been outstanding since he was a freshman, and he's gotten bigger and he's gotten stronger. And last year, in a full-time starting role, because he cracked the starting lineup maybe a little before the halfway point of his freshman year in 2023. But he was a full-time starter last year, and he was like the full-time starter for the defensive line. So they rotated a lot of guys. But CJ Fite was the constant, and he just looked so much better from year 1 to year 2. He looked leaner, but bigger. He was quicker. He was able to get his first collegiate sack. He scored a touchdown. It was an impressive year for him. And he's going into his 3rd season, even better, even more polished. He's right about 300 pounds now, which some people were upset that he wasn't above. But, it is what it is. I think that he's a pretty good player, whether he's 320 or 290. So, but neither here nor there. He is going to be playing on Sundays whenever he decides to leave. I'm hoping it'll be after his senior year. But he should have been in this top 100. He's one of the best defensive linemen in the country. You're going to find people outside of Tempe, Arizona who think that as well. There's people in NFL draft circles who like him. There are people who just watch a lot of college football, digest a lot of college football, who are aware of who CJ Fite is. Like, could he be a sleeper? I guess, but it's also just someone that people are aware of. So, yeah, definitely someone who was snubbed from the list as far as I am concerned. Last guy I want to mention, this is flat out just a miss from the boys and the ladies. I'm sorry, but how did Xavion Alford not make this list? How? I don't know, man. That was the one that I saw that and I was like, you got to be kidding me. I'd be willing to bet I was the only one who voted for him, which is insane, right, wrong, or indifferent. But, I mean, these things happen. But Xavion Alford was out of his mind last year. He went 1,000 days without being on the football field, only to come back and be first team all conference. And he was flying around the field. He looked like he had been playing at some kind of all-American level for the last 1,000 days. Nope. He was off the field due to injuries and due to the NCAA holding him out for their 2-time transfer policy. He got back on the field. That looks pretty good. That is also a future NFL player. He will be playing on Sundays. He is very talented. All the range, all the instincts. He had 2 interceptions last year. I think he's going to at least match that total this year. I think we're going to see him do a little bit of box score stuffing, honestly. There were great tackle numbers from him. He was number 2 on the team. I would not be surprised if he finished top 2 again. I could see all sorts of stuff, though. Let's get him some sacks. Let's get the turnovers with the interceptions, the forced fumbles, whatever. This is just a good football player. And think about how good he was after, I can't remember if I said it, 1,000 days off from getting on the field. Now he's going to be fresh off of a massively productive season. Yeah, he's going to be big this year. And I understand there's a lot of good safeties in college football. Caleb Downs and Dylan Thieneman were both inside the top 30. And you got like KJ Bolden out in Georgia. I know Minnesota has a kid whose name's escaping me at the moment. There's a lot of good safeties across the nation, but Xavion Alford is one of the best safeties in the nation. He was definitely a big time snub for me. There are some guys who I think will make the voters regret overthinking and sleeping on them. And I also want to mention some Sun Devils who could eventually appear on this kind of list. That's coming up next. This is the Locked On Sun Devils podcast. It's part of the Locked On Podcast Network, and it's your team every day. And again, thank you all so much for tuning in to Locked On Sun Devils and making us your first listen of the day. And a shout out to the everydayers who are here every day. You forgot about us, is what these 4 players are saying. Not necessarily snubs, but definitely some guys who were going to make a lot of people go, huh, how did I not know more about them? How did we go through the vetting for the top 100 players and not include these guys? 4 players who were going to make everyone regret overthinking them, overlooking them. Number 1, again, offense and defense, Ben Coleman. He was a stud interior offensive lineman for the Sun Devils last year. Leaf Otanu was first team all conference. Ben Coleman, I believe, was second team. Coleman was arguably better than Leaf. He's going to be moving from guard to center this year to help replace Leaf. There are people who think that is the best move for his future career. We'll wait and see. I'm not an expert when it comes to that kind of stuff. I like to think I am as a draft aficionado, but I'm not. What I do know is that is a former all-conference player when he was with Cal prior to transferring to ASU in the former Pac-12, RIP. He was elite last year. And if he truly is projected to be better inside at center, then we're going to see a big-time season from him. Ben Coleman's going to be huge for the Sun Devils this year. The other 3 guys on defense. Number 2, Clayton Smith. Clayton Smith has been a very good football player. The numbers just aren't there. 4 sacks his first year, 4.5 sacks last year. It's not nothing. But I feel like you should have been able to combine those numbers to show off how good of a football player he truly is. 8.5 sacks, I would love that to be the goal for him in 2025. It's his last year. This is the last hurrah. He has been a very good rotational player and a very good starter for the Sun Devils. I think there is a legitimate argument to be made that he is the best player in the front 7 for the Sun Devils right now, including CJ Fite, who we just talked about, including some of the very good linebackers like Keyshawn Elliott, who is also not voted into the top 100 and was first team all conference. Clayton Smith is a terrific football player. If he can get that sack production, and I think that's really the only thing missing here, he's a top 100 player. And then we got to talk about the 2 corners, Xavion Robinson, Keith Abney. I get it why they weren't on the top 100. Again, college football, terrific right now. There was a lot of guys that they were going to have to compete with. By the end of this year, a lot of people are going to look and they're going to go, man, we missed on that. Man, I can't believe We didn't talk about Keith Abney more. Can't believe we didn't talk about Javan Robinson more. Both of them getting love in NFL draft circles, by the way. Keith Abney, he's great. He can play all over the place. He has just truly come into his own as a strong, smart, versatile defender. Javan Robinson has got some good instincts. I thought last year he really got better down the stretch. And obviously he saved the season with that interception off of BYU. Special football players. That is going to be one of the best corner duos in the Big 12 for this upcoming season. How high can they be in the nation? I don't know, but I'm very excited to find out. I think those four guys specifically are going to make the voters regret overlooking them. As you round out the show, I want to go beyond. Because what's so interesting about the fact that I forgot to turn my alarm off, what's so interesting about this Sun Devils team is that so many of the players that are here are going to be gone next year. There's a lot of seniors on this team. And even some of the younger guys are draft eligible and could hop to the pros. So literally every single player we've talked about here has a chance to not be on the team next year. Sam Leavitt could go pro. Jordyn Tyson could go pro. Kanye Udoh could go pro. CJ Fite could go pro. Keith Abney could go pro. Javan Robinson can go pro. Xavion Alford, pretty sure he's out of eligibility. Clayton Smith is out of eligibility. Ben Coleman is out of eligibility. That is 9 players that we've just spent the whole show talking about might not be here next year. Some of them could be. I don't anticipate very many, if any of them will be. So what's the future for the Sun Devils look like then? Well, it's kind of tough because who gets onto the field this year? Who is able to make a big-time impact this year? I don't know. Who could maybe be on the team in 2027? Not the team, the ranking. I think that's kind of where we're looking at here. But there are 7 Sun Devils that I want to highlight here as guys who could be on the list in 26, 27, 28, whenever. 10, offense and defense. Jake Fette, who else are we going to start with? 4-star quarterback. He's the future of this program. This kid has got it. The top 20 player in the state of Texas for the 2026 cycle. He is a top 10 quarterback in the cycle. He is a super high, definitive, lockdown consensus 4-star. I stand firm if he does what he did last year, which was like almost 30 touchdowns and like 2 turnovers. He could get to much closer to 5-star status. He's not going anywhere. He's all in on ASU. It's amazing. He has a chance to easily be inside the top 100 one day. Number 2, Jason Brown, the running back. He's a redshirt freshman this year. He only played 1 game last year. I think we're going to see a lot more of him this year because you are trying to replace Cam Scadaboo. He is still probably the 4th running back on the depth chart behind Kanye Udoh, Kyson Brown, and Raleek Brown. But he has also dropped about 15 pounds. He's much closer to his play weight around 200 compared to the 215-ish he was at last year to get back that explosiveness. He has a chance to be on special teams. He is a good receiver. He is potentially the number 1 running back next year. If Raleek Brown, Kyson Brown, and Kanye Udoh all depart, whether that's pros or some other avenue, all 3 of them could be gone. Jason Brown could be the lead back next year. Number 3, Jaron Hamilton. Speaking of guys who could be the number 1 at their position, Jaron Hamilton is transferring in from Alabama, redshirt freshman wide receiver, former super duper high 4-star. We don't know what to do with the receiver depth chart, which is the reason why he's here and not potentially as a sleeper. But he looked so good in spring ball, and he's someone that I'm going to be paying attention to for reports from spring camp, or not spring camp, from training camp while I'm unable to be there to see how he looks, because there's an awesome chance for him to be a breakout stud for the Sun Devils this year. He's got deep speed. He is a big play weapon. That's what he showed off in spring ball. That's what we know of him when he was coming into college. He could be the number one receiver next year with Tyson probably going pro and with a lot of uncertainty at the receiver position as of right now. Would not be surprised to see him down there, and that kind of speed that he has is going to make him deadly. Number 3, or that was number 3. Number 4, Terrell Kim, offensive lineman. He was at like 370, I think is what he was reported to be at. He's closer to like 320 now. He redshirted last year to get into better shape. He looks phenomenal. Do not be surprised if you find him on the field this year. ASU is rolling with Kyle Scott and Jameto Abigbo as their guards right now because Ben Coleman moved inside. Well, if something happens, God forbid, Terrell Kim might be the next man up to be a starter for the interior. If he gets on the field this year, you're going to have a hard time getting him off. That is a big son of a gun. And if he does continue to get properly developed by Coach Saga and this offense that just runs very, very well, very fluid, well-oiled machine, I could see Terrell Kim being a breakout star, especially down the road. Number 5, AJ Ia, the tight end. He already looks like an NFL player. I've said so many times on this podcast, I have never felt smaller next to an 18-year-old kid, next to a teenager. Like, it blows me away. And he already looks like a top-end receiver. He looks like a top-end blocker. We're going to see him on the field a lot this year. A lot. Get ready for AJ Ia by the end of the year, and certainly by the start of next year when he is tight end 1. Last 2 guys on defense, number 6, Michael Gardner, defensive lineman. He's coming home. The local kid, spent 2 years at Oregon, couldn't get on the field. He redshirted, and then he was injured. He's back. If he is healthy, there is major upside for him as a pass rusher for the interior of the defensive line. ASU doesn't have a bunch of sack masters from the interior. They don't have a lot of sack masters, period, on this team. Gardner can hopefully be the guy who changes that narrative. And if it's not this year, and keep in mind, they're going to rotate the defensive tackles this year. Jeff Clark is gone. Someone is going to fill in those snaps. That could be Gardner. If he gets on the field this year, I will be paying extra attention to his snaps. And I do think that he will be a very important player for the future. Finally, Rodney Bimage. If you tune into this podcast, you know this is a Rodney Bimage fan cast. Love Rodney Bimage. He looked excellent in spring camp 2024 as a true freshman when he earlier enrolled. He looked great in training camp. Did not get on the field last year. That's how good the secondary was. He is a redshirt freshman. He looks even better. He has clearly been putting in the work in the lab, in the film room. He looks great. He dominated spring ball once again. I will be paying attention to him throughout training camp through word of mouth. Again, I will not be able to be there, unfortunately, this year. The bills need to be paid. ASU is replacing LT Welsh, who was corner 3 for them last year. He had a very specific, very niche role. They've got options this year. Nyland Green is one of the favorites to get that spot. Rodney Bimage could be corner 3. And that's not nickel. That's not slot. That's not inside corner. That's another boundary guy. He could get out there. Do not be surprised if he does. And if he is able to find the field, you better be ready to see some fireworks. Rodney Bimage, very, very special. If and when Javan Robinson and Keith Abney eventually depart, whether that's this offseason or next, Rodney is going to be one of the top corners on the team. He's going to be a stud. But what do you guys think? Who got snubbed? Who's going to make a lot of people regret not putting him on their list? Let me know in the comments. You can hit me up on Twitter at RichieBrads36. The podcast is there at LO_SunDevils. Wherever you're getting your shows, hit like, subscribe, turn on notifications. You'll get the update whenever we post new content. Thanks to each and every single one of you for tuning in to Locked On Sun Devils and making us your first listen of the day. Shout out to the everydayers who are here every day. Later on tonight, I am going to be sitting down with JT Wistersill from Locked On Utes as we take a look at why ASU and Utah could be taking their rivalry to the next level in the Big 12. All that and so much more as we are a month away from Sun Devil football. Now's never been a better time to subscribe. I'll catch you guys later. Until then, you keep it locked right here on Locked On Sun Devils.